Yeah. From the BART train to a tour bus, still the same game except I'm pulling more sluts, more butts, more bucks, never giving
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. We're going to go over basically a whole list of different things today. Some very interesting things that you may or may not have seen before, especially if you're new to the channel. So if you haven't deduced it from the title of the video, we have some very intriguing new UFO footage captured by one of the many satellites that are currently monitoring our sun 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, capturing photos, video, and data, and beaming it back to Earth. And you can get online and you can go to any day of the week at any time and get a live look at our sun. And what happens many times is that you go and look at some of these SOHO or stereo images and you see some really strange things. Now, throughout the years, I've featured a ton of anomalous craft around our sun, and I'll just tell you right now, if you're new to the channel, or just to remind you, look, I firmly believe that not only are unidentified craft, or we'll just say craft that do not belong to Earth, have been and continue, for whatever reason, to be visiting not only our planet, but our sun, especially our sun. Today, we're going to go through some things that many of you probably have never seen before that were captured around our sun. A lot of it you may have seen, but today I'm trying to show you guys some stuff that's pretty new, as well as things that haven't been recycled over and over all over the net. And the first thing I want to start off with today is a new finding by a YouTube channel called Mayenhausen74, and I'll put the link to this channel down in the video description. It's another research channel. This guy finds a bunch of crazy stuff around our sun, out in space, does great work. Be sure to check out his channel. And he recently published a video featuring what looks to him like a massive flying disc of some sort that flew into the orbit of our sun and then disappeared. So here we are, we're on the helioviewer.org webpage. We have a view of our sun here, and we have all of these different search parameters. We want to have the observatory set at proba 2. We want the instrument to be swap, and we want the measurement to be 174. And then we want to go to the date of February 2nd, 2017 at approximately 12 hours, 36 minutes, and 57 seconds. And as I'm doing this, you can see there's nothing up around the sun. We see nothing. And just as we finish putting in this date and time, this is what we get. And we'll go ahead and zoom in here. And this is the anomalous object in question. And we start to see what really does look like a well-defined object, unknown. This isn't something that's attached to the sun, but does seem to appear. And again, it appears for about a minute, because as you go through the seconds between the minutes of 12:36 and 12:37 and the minute before, the object is gone. And it appears, it sits there for about a minute before vanishing. So here we are, we're zoomed in, and you can see we have this very well-defined saucer or disc shape. Perfectly meets the criteria of an unidentified flying object. It would seem to be flying at an angle here. It almost looks like a winged object, where we have a wing on each side. We have some curvature here in the center between the two wings. And, you know, this all goes back to, okay, if our sun is being visited, and I'm going to show you some more very impressive evidence here in just a second, but the question has always been, why are these things, why do they seem to be proliferating around our sun? And the obvious answer that we always talk about is the fact that when you think of these massive ships, and we've had government insiders, former NASA employees, confirm that these massive unknown ships exist out in interstellar space and in our solar system, okay? So that's been confirmed. It's been leaked. I can't count how many times by a list of reputable sources who have not only admitted to this, but who have also promised, should they be given the opportunity, to testify in front of Congress to what they know. All right, so the reality of unknown spacecraft in our solar system and out in space, well, it's just that. It's a reality. This is no illusion. And if you're watching my videos and you don't believe that, well, then I ask, why watch to begin with? Because the preponderance of evidence has proven that we are not alone. There are strange things happening above us, outside of our planet. NASA recently held $1 million study, gave $1 million to all of these various religious leaders to do a study as to how the discovery of alien life would affect said religions. Paid $1 million by NASA. So you explain that one to me. And so the question gets back to, why stars? Well, obviously, you have a massive ship, you're going to need to power it. And what is the number one place that you are going to utilize, the number one energy source, where you can get unlimited energy, and where you can do this over and over and over? And the obvious answer is the sun, a star, something that you can siphon energy from, that will never die, at least not for millions and billions of years. And that is what we believe, and what many people believe who look at this footage, and I'll show you some of the mind-blowing footage where we've captured these objects in the act, on video, siphoning plasma from the sun, and detaching, and flying away. And so the question is, how many more of these findings, like the one we've shown you here, and the ones I'm about to show you, are we going to have to put out there on the web before NASA, and before someone finally steps forward and says, you know, we admit it, the preponderance of evidence is overwhelming, we have been lying to you, we've known for quite some time that these ships are out there. We don't know why they're out there, we don't know what they're doing, but what we can say, at the very least, and, you know, not insult our intelligence any longer, is admit that yes, they are there. So now I've been receiving, over the past couple of months, some other findings around our sun. The next one was of a obvious triangular-shaped craft, once again seen either passing by, hovering above. So we'll go ahead and zoom in here. And, I mean, you can clearly see the sun's light reflecting off of the bottom of this thing. And it's a clear, triangular craft. No two ways about it. Whether you want to say it's an entity, a craft, a structure, what have you, it's a triangular UFO. It's a geometric, sharp-edged shape that is sitting above our sun. And we've seen these triangular things before, as a matter of fact. And I'll show you another amazing one that was captured, I believe it was back in 2013, 2014, where we got a much closer view, up-close view, of one of these triangular craft, and you're seeing that here. And we'll go ahead and zoom in. Look at this little guy. So let's look at this same craft with the contrast enhanced, so we can really bring this thing out. Alright, and that really did the trick. And you can actually again see what looked to be definite grooves, structures, surface features, reflections, and, you know, it looks like your typical Black Manta TR-3B style ship. And look, I'm not telling you definitely what it is or isn't. All I'm saying is, look, we have a triangular, unidentified object, alright? That's what we have. That's what you're looking at here. I mean, we're all looking at it. So let's go on to some more interesting things that have been found around our sun. Just this year, another great YouTuber by the name of StreetCap1, spoken about him before, found yet another object that looked to be siphoning energy once again from our sun. And you're seeing that clip here. Here you're seeing a close-up of whatever this UFO is at the end of this band. And, you know, it's one more piece. Shows you once again that these things are siphoning energy from our sun. And I know you guys have probably all seen this, but with the amount of new subscribers to the channel, many of you who are watching this may have never seen this. As I mentioned earlier, one of the most amazing pieces of evidence showing one of these massive, I mean, these things are so large, they're larger than Earth, siphoning plasma from the sun. You're seeing this animation here, and you're going to see a bunch of different views. So I'll just go ahead and let this play for a second and watch this thing sucking up this energy, and then watch it detach and fly away. All right, so a mind-boggling piece of footage, undeniable, with a massive spherical object, and to once again prove that these are actually three-dimensional metallic objects, at least objects that have these massive hulls. I'm going to show you another clip from a different date where once again one of these massive spherical ships was caught just sort of sitting in the vicinity of our sun. It wasn't sucking anything from it at the time, but it was just sort of sitting in the background. And you're seeing that image here. And I want you to notice ridges wrapping around it. You know, what I can only describe as a hull. This thing has a hull. These things have hulls. Whether they're metallic or some other material, they're three-dimensional. They have these ridges that wrap around them, creating this sphere. It could be some sort of reinforcing, but just look at this. Look at the sun reflecting off the top of this thing. So my best guess is some sort of metal. But, I mean, for those of you who might be disbelievers, how much evidence am I going to have to show you before you finally say, alright, something's not right here? And, you know, again, these things are proliferating. Sometimes they're in formations, some of them are massive, some of them are much, much smaller. Sometimes we catch them and they're literally right above the sun, like you're seeing here. And they're so close to it that, let's just say they should be destroyed, but they're not. And these things have been found hovering, sitting, moving above our sun, like you're seeing here, and they would seem to be impervious to the sun's gravity, as well as its radiation and destruction. Here's a group of three objects, again, caught moving extremely close to the sun, completely unfazed by this behemoth. And, you know, it really does leave you with more questions than answers, I will admit that. Here's another UFO that we recently posted a video on. We call this the tripod. And, well, that's because it looks like a massive tripod. I'll go ahead and zoom in here. And again, we have another three-dimensional object that has these three legs, you know, extending from this centerpiece. And I want you guys to notice, and I pointed this out when we first posted about this, look at the end of this thing, and look how it's reflecting sunlight. Then I want you to look at these legs that are extending from it, and I want you to notice how this centerpiece is actually casting a shadow on all three of these legs, which, after extending out a ways, then start catching sunlight again and reflecting it back. So that proves right there, this is a three-dimensional object. This is not some glitch. Although the NASA apologists would love to have you believe it was. And they will fight trying to convince you that that's exactly what it is, and that you know what? You need to pay no mind, alright? Don't pay any attention. go about your day, go hit the peace pipe, and don't even worry about this crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory nonsense. And that's how they target you. The big thing these days is, well, it's fake news, in quotations. Anything that does not agree with the mainstream narrative is now being labeled fake news, and that's become the tool. So, again, big thanks to the sources of this new footage. Be sure to check out their YouTube channels. I'll put them down in the video description. Let me know what you guys think, and be sure to stick around because you guys know I have a lot more coming, and I'll see you back here in just a bit.